Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's a little slanted. That drives me nuts. Today, it's clobbering time, and what are we talking about? I figured since this is the last clobbering time before the New Year's, we talk about new versus old, and what a better way to do that than with the Justice Society versus the Justice League, kind of a New Year's celebration. But before we get into that, I would like to bring up my comic book, Heroic Tales #1. It's still available on Fund My Comic. It seems like I'm getting like a sale a day. It's pretty good. When you're a little guy like me, every little drop helps. But you could get all the covers, the Pat Broderick cover. I still have everything available, but I updated the site. You can still get the comic. I'm talking about the tiers, the reward tiers over here. You can get the bundles. You can get the pint glass. Everything's available. The Pat Broderick cover, the 3 Pat Broderick covers, pint glass, Broderick cover. If you want any combination, things aren't like during the main campaign. So you could email me and tell me, I want to switch it up. I want to do this. You could still get the Heroic Tales coin. That's the regular small coin. The Michael T. Gilbert cover, the Mike Gustovich cover, the T-shirt. I just don't have this. I got large, extra large, XXL, and XXX. I didn't get small and medium, so just be aware if you order that. The challenge coin, I sold 2 of them this week. It's so good. These coins, yes, they're expensive, but they're so big. They're the same company that makes Graham Nolan and Mike Barron's coins. This is a STL file for printing, resin or plastic. You could print your own Patriarch. As I chug some coffee. And this, a complete card set, all 7 cards for $10. One person bought that this week. And then, individual cards, $2 a piece. That includes shipping. So it says plus shipping, but $2 complete. So you can get all the cards. So that's the new news that I wanted to bring up. Okay, so I'll stop sharing that. Let's look at the chat. Zach 10, I'm traveling, but I wish you all a blessed day. Oh, good. Where are you traveling to? Hey, Dave. Dave Brink is here. Dave, you still here? Come on in. Oh, I forgot to put the link in the chat. Here is the link. As always, it's clobbering time is an open chat, meaning anybody could pop in. Anybody could talk. Matter of fact, I encourage you to come in. I encourage you to talk with me. That's what it's about. Here is the link to my Fund My Comic, but it's real easy to find. Just go to Fund My Comic, Heroic Tales, and Blab Bluey. You're there. Tony Grigo says the JSA have to win. Is that a threat? Are you threatening me? Link? Yep, I saw that. That's why I put the link in. Here is the link. Happy Clobbering Day. That made me laugh. Thank you. That made me laugh. Ben Shamar, voice actor. How you doing? Speaking of how you doing.
Hey, how's it going, John? How was your Christmas?
Good. My Christmas is good. I'm wearing my favorite Christmas present. My wife bought me.
Great.
She not tired of hearing me. I work outside, so I'm cold all the time.
All day, right? I know.
So she got me this, and it is so soft. And what I like about it is the sleeves, so I'm not worrying about the sleeves dipping into food and stuff. It's got pockets, big deep pockets.
That's cool. That's great.
It's hood, and it comes down past my knees. It's like a big, long robe. It is.
And if you gain weight, nobody could tell.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a sweater robe? I guess what it's not a sweater robe. It's like a robe. It's not a bathrobe. It's like an indoor robe. It's like if a lumberjack and a wizard had a baby, this is like a lumberjack wizard
robe. That's so cool. It looks like. Did you ever? We saw this movie. I have a couple of favorite gifts, but we saw this movie, the animated movie Klaus.
I got to see it. People have been,
we just watched it. My son said I watched it last week. You guys got to see it. And we watched it. It was what a story. It's an alternate origin of Santa Claus.
You see, I got to watch.
A lot of fun.
my third comic down the line is an origin for Santa Claus. So I got to
Well,
watch.
you better watch it. See if it didn't. If you, I'm only teasing. It's really sweet. It's well animated, well designed. It's very nice. Kids can watch it.
It's funny because I didn't write the script for my story yet, but what I'm taking
maybe you shouldn't watch it until you write your.
Well, I'm taking the historical life of Saint Nicholas, so it's like the historical or legendary whatever of Saint, and how he becomes this Santa Claus. You know what I mean? With my spin to it.
Well, this involves a postal service. This involves the postal service.
Oh, this has nothing to do with the postal service.
All postal service, but it's just really cute. It's very good.
But it involves like if there's some horror in Saint Nicholas's life story. So like people are going to ask me, is this going to be kid friendly? Yeah, if your kid can handle Greek mythology, your kids will be able to handle it. If your kid can read the Bible, your kid can handle this because there's dismemberments, there's murders, there's a lot of stuff in St. Nicholas's life.
This was nicer than that, but I think you should watch. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, turn up your mic.
The one gift I got, a bunch of gifts. I got Al Williamson, Girls 50 Girls, all black and white, of all his stories with Frank Frazetta.
Oh, I got that.
Isn't that a terrific book? Yeah,
I got that too. Yeah. That is awesome.
I got that, and then this is one of the things. And I got other stuff. I got Dave Cockrum, like The Life of Dave Cockrum, Tomorrow's, and the Alex Ross.
I got that
really
too.
Unique, fantastic. I'm sure you have this.
Yeah, I got a soft cover to read and a hard cover to leave wrapped in plastic because
it's not a bad idea. It's a sweet book. But my son, who's a student, doesn't have the money, is in a thrift shop, and he buys me this just because I like comics.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
So it's not in great shape or anything, but it's 18. And G. Colin, he doesn't even know that was my teacher. So his thoughtfulness, But what I did get was this, and this is kind of neat. This is Marvel. I don't know if you've heard about this.
No.
It's the Mighty Marvel 2025 calendar. It's a reissue of the 1975 calendar because, of course, the days are the same.
Oh, really?
So you can use this as a calendar, and it has. I didn't have the 75 calendar. I think I had the 80 with the Hulk on it, and I had one. I think I had this. I had the 77. I forget. I might still have them somewhere. They're not in great shape. I had them forever. But the idea of these Marvel calendars is that they have a great piece of artwork like this, and then all the days with the guy's birthday and pictures of them and stuff. Nice. And this is just a reissue of the same. I thought it was such a great idea.
I didn't realize that the days were the same. That is awesome.
Yeah, and they, it has all the classic classic John Buscema, Sal Buscema, all the John Romita, all those classic artists,
Yeah. Well, this is like I told my wife, this is my second favorite present I've ever gotten.
That's a great thing. And of course, tomorrow we'll be drawing Cable, so you should come on tomorrow.
Oh, great! My favorite.
I suggested it because we drew Superman, so I drew a Superman, and I put the Fleischer logo on him.
I said this is my second favorite gift. My first favorite gift is when I turned 50. My wife took me to Iceland.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. That's terrific.
Iceland, and now, so this is up there with a trip to Iceland. That's how much I liked it.
Wow.
Here's a funny thing because I have a split unit heater air conditioner over there, and me and my brother put heat down here. I turned off all the heat, everything.
I you don't need the heat with that thing on.
Yeah, I don't need the heat. Yeah, I just turned all the heat off. I haven't turned that on since I got this. So there you go. All right. So let's check out. I was going down to the chat. Katie did says, hello, Marcus John. Hope you had a wonderful. Yeah, I did. I had a wonderful Christmas. My wife, for Christmas Eve, my wife makes lasagna. Oh my God. And she makes the best lasagna. And she makes a tray that's just way too much food. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be eating lasagna for a couple of days now. I mean, this is 3 days in a row, and I think we had like 1/5 of it. Oh my God.
I had my son over, so we don't have that much food left. My wife made a baked ziti. She makes a great baked ziti.
Yeah.
early on.
So Christmas Eve, for those of you who don't know, Christmas Eve is also my wedding anniversary. My wife and I got married on Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve, my wife and I always spend Christmas Eve, just her and I, because it's Christmas Eve and it's our wedding anniversary. And it's a good excuse not to fight, because I got 7 brothers. Where you going?
Excuse me. When you were a kid, did you open your presents on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, John?
We opened gifts from each other on Christmas Eve. So, like, you come to my house, we exchange gifts on Christmas, and then Christmas morning is the Santa Claus gifts. What about you, T Bunny? What's your Christmas tradition?
Well, I don't really have one. It's just whoever invites me, that's where I go.
Well, we got plenty of lasagna if you want to come down to New York.
Down to New York. I'm in North Carolina. You're in
New York.
New York is
you're a couple. Go to Marcus's house.
I think he's about an hour from me.
Oh, really? That's right. That is right.
You're in Hickory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually in Morganton, so I'm about 20
I just passed that. I went to Asheville yesterday, so I passed Lincolnton and Morganton on the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yesterday, I went to Asheville.
Ah, what's left of it, right?
Well, where I go, it's okay.
Okay.
The college property is good. They just got water back only like last month, though.
Yeah,
even the places that look good.
No doubt.
So, Genuine Comics, you could talk about the Justice League then. I'm sure Marcus and myself could talk for days about the Justice League.
Not that much different between the two of them. So
which iteration of Justice Society are we talking about?
Okay, so let's start, because at 9 o'clock we're going to do a drink to the patriarchy. So if drink
okay, all right, okay.
And I'm working tomorrow. It's the first overtime I've had in like.
Really, you got to work tomorrow?
Yeah, so I'm not going to be staying up too late.
Well,
so let's get right to it. It's clobbering time. Justice Society, Justice League.
Okay.
I picked this because I thought it would be like a great old versus new, kind of a New Year's theme. The Justice Society, for those of you who don't know, is like the first super team in DC. It's almost, Marcus. Is it the first super team?
I think it might be the first super team. I don't know. I was looking that up earlier.
Yeah. Now that because I know it's like officially canon that they're the first Justice DC super team, unless you go for like these retros where they had like.
It wasn't. It was so early. It wasn't even DC.
Right. It was National Comics at the time.
It wasn't even. It was both comic companies together. It wasn't even National Comics.
What were the two? What were the two companies?
It was National and All American.
Okay.
So All American is like
right.
Wonder Woman.
Have you watched this?
Yeah. So we going with original members?
I was thinking the original members.
Okay. So that's Dr. Fate, Hourman, Spectre, Sandman, Atom, the Flash, and Green Lantern, and Hawkman.
So here we go. Here is some of the this is some of the original members. Full disclosure, I love the Justice Society. I love the Justice League too, but I love the Justice Society.
I always like
about that old fashioned look. Some of those horrible costumes. Can I make this bigger? Yes, I can. Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that brown and blue costume on the Atom. That is awful. It's so awful. It's amazing. It is bad. And then that Wildcat with those big puffy cheeks.
Wildcat was created by Erwin Hasen.
Yeah. Same guy, Dondi, right? The same guy did Dondi?
He did Dondi. He was my teacher at SVA for a couple of years.
Yeah, and Adam didn't have any powers at first. He was just basically a wrestler.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It was kind of like an insult back then to call small people Adam. So he's like the guy, he like made it his own, like they teased him, called him small. So he took the name the Atom, and he was just a brawler. Later on, he got superpowers. He got like the invulnerability, super strength kind
Let's see. The Atom, Flash, Green Lantern, and I think Hawkman were all American publications. And they were run by Max Gaines. Major Nicholson ran National or DC Comics.
But
Spectre and Starman, that's right.
So I'm just going to name them all from the top. So the guy in the yellow, that's Dr. Fate. He's the original magic user. What we did.
He predates Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, the Justice Society is pretty much the OG.
It's a template for a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And then next to him with that red and yellow, that's Starman. I don't know, man. I love that costume.
Love that costume. Yeah,
I
that's a
love
great
that.
costume.
Simple and elegant. The green.
It's a great
This was
costume.
Ted Knight, right?
Ted Knight with that fin. Oh my God.
I like that costume.
And then he has that little rod.
The
And
cosmic staff. Yeah.
what can Starman do? Well, that's just it.
It's the same thing as Green Lantern. Anything.
Right. In the early golden age, they really didn't define powers. Like
No.
Dr. Fate did whatever Dr. Fate needed to do. Starman did whatever Starman needed to do. And then there's the Spectre over there in the white and green. Jim Corrigan as a cop killed in the line of duty. Yep. And then he came back as a ghost. And what at first he just had like ghost powers, like pass through walls, turn invisible, possess people.
Yeah.
But towards the end, he was like he could crush planets.
He was,
you know,
God's swift sword of vengeance.
Absolutely.
And it's not that easy to draw the Spectre. They get that hood right. Not that easy at all.
Yeah,
I remember when I attempted to draw. I thought
it's not easy.
Like hats on people is terrible to draw.
Yeah, hats are hard. I think maybe only Will Eisner could do hats.
Yeah.
Will Eisner and Kyle Baker.
This Hawkman hood, I've seen more horrible renditions of the Hawkman mask than any other mask.
The original mask that they drew, that's this one with the beak, is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
I think the only modern person they had to change it. The only modern person to do it, I think, is Byrne. Basically, the eyes are up where the mouth is, and it looks like it's out of
Alex Ross did a good version of it.
He did. Alex Ross is good.
Yeah. So what Hawkman was Carter Hall. He was an Egyptologist. He found that red disc is like the nth metal or something like that. And it, you know, and at first all he could do was fly, but then later on he could like resist atmosphere and, you know, basically adapt to weather and fly in space. Just like all superheroes, power creep happens, you know.
Yeah.
We got Dr. Midnight over here, who was the original Daredevil. He was the original blind superhero. Yeah. You know, and then what I always thought was cool is he threw these bombs that just created like a black mist, blackout bombs. So
but he's the only one that could see.
Right. Yeah. But in pitch darkness, he could see. That was his thing. His eyes were so sensitive that he couldn't see in light. He could only see in pitch dark, which is a nice spin on the Daredevil thing. I don't know. That's just a cool costume too.
Yeah, I always liked it.
They were into capes of the 40s too that we wouldn't put on anybody.
Yeah,
unless there's a good reason for them.
And we got Johnny Thunder in the green suit and the tie, and Johnny Thunder is he was kind of like a comedy character. He was like the sidekick to the Thunderbolt, and he would say, "Say you." What was his magic word? Say you, right?
Yeah, say you. That's right.
Say you, and then the Thunderbolt would come out, and the Thunderbolt could do anything. It could do anything he wanted. It was a genie, but the thing is,
it was similar to Etrigan in a way,
right? But he was limited by what Johnny Thunder told him to do. It was a kind of a cool logical weakness. Johnny Thunder was a dummy, so if Johnny Thunder would be like, you know, beat that guy up, the Thunderbolt would literally just fight. You know what I mean? Like, meanwhile, he could just zap you into another dimension. He could snap his fingers and disintegrate Superman, but he was limited by Johnny Thunder's dumb intellect, which I thought was kind of interesting way to limit a super powerful being.
And then later on, they teamed him with a thug, a little street thug, basically.
Yeah, there was Johnny Thunder, a girl, but that's just it. Johnny Thunder was the seventh son of a seventh son, so he was like gifted this magical genie. So that's another thing we'll talk about after I introduce all the characters. But we'll get back to that. Is Wonder Woman? Do I need to talk about Wonder Woman? The original Flash, Jay Garrick. What did he inhaled hard vapors or something stupid like that? Yeah, he is the worst origin in all of comic books.
But I love that helmet.
I love that costume.
Again, that's hard to draw, but I love that helmet.
And I love that the lightning bolt is kind of off and askew.
Yeah, it's like a little askew.
It shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah.
But the original, one thing you see about these guys, these heroes, they're in shape, but they don't have to be buffed. They have nice loose shirts on. Right. They have the loose, except for Hawkman, who has to look muscular, and Adam. and that's part of his thing is to be muscular. The rest of the guys are like just regular athletic build. They're not all like.
They're built like 40 strong, like Robert Mitchum. Like they got
like not like we're trying cable tomorrow, and that's the exact
Jim
opposite.
Atlas, I think.
Charles Atlas and Jack
Charles Atlas, yeah.
But then in the middle, we got the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
Who was not gay at this point.
Not
it was
gay.
a meteor that
Not
fell,
gay.
right? And he carved it into a lantern.
Not gay.
Right?
But his weakness was wood.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, problematic these days.
A little bit, yeah.
But wasn't that his origin? It was a meteor. It was a green meteor, and he carved it into a lantern.
And by wood, I mean the substance of wood. Okay.
The funniest thing about Green Lantern, the creator, the official creator of Green Lantern, Martin Odell, created Green Lantern and Pillsbury Doughboy.
Oh.
He was on the New York subway and noticed the lantern that the subway at that point before they burned people on the subway.
Yeah.
They carried a lantern for light, and that's what the basis of Green Lantern is.
Right. He was commuting to work when he got the idea. Next to him, we got Our Man, who originally just looked like a guy in a fedora and a trench coat, and then he got the costume. But he would take a pill, and he would get
really problematic character.
Right. He would take a pill and get super strong for an hour.
That whole open up taking a pill.
Yeah.
One pill makes you naughty. One pill, like it's Jefferson's airplane.
Right. And then we got Diana Lance, the original Black Canary.
Yeah.
Who was retroactively became the mother of the modern Black Canary. But this one doesn't have the sonic scream, right? She's just
No, I think she did get it at the very end.
I think DC kind of forgot, I think DC that messed up their own. We already talked about the Atom. He's just a small pugilist. The Sandman, Wesley Dodds, probably my second favorite in the group. I love the gas mask, the original gas mask costume.
No Superman and Batman. They very, very, very rarely showed up.
Right.
Yeah.
And Wesley Dodd, he was a Batman type of crime fighter, and he had a gas that he would spray and put people to sleep. And then they retroactively gave him the ability to get predictive dreams, which is I guess because he got tied to the modern game in Sandman.
The thing about Our Man too is because he took a pill and nobody thought twice about it way back when. That's caused how many stories have there been about him being a druggie, his eyes are all pulled out, or was that whole one that Paul Smith, that guy, did that graphic novel where all the superheroes are on drugs, which I hate that. Beautiful. Charles Smith is one of the greatest artists, but that deconstructionism,
Yeah. And then we got Wildcat, who is Ted Grant, and he's the greatest, Ted Grant, right? He's the greatest boxer, and I love the fact that they retroactively made him he trained all of the superheroes got some sort of training by Ted Grant.
Yeah, including Batman.
Including Batman, and he is the ladies' man of comic books, from Power Girl to if you remember
he got around. He got around.
Hippolyta, Hippolyta became Wonder Woman in this convoluted way, post-crisis continuity. Hippolyta went back in time and became the original Wonder Woman, and she was with Ted Grant. Everybody likes Ted Grant. Such a horrible costume that I absolutely love.
I love that car. It's weird because they always drew the ears askew.
Yeah, floppy.
But he didn't really look like Batman. It did look more like a cat without being Catman.
Yeah, it's built like a brick house too, so that's why.
He was a big muscular guy.
Iteration is the key question for both teams. Which version of each team? That is thus therein lies the question. I mean, let's be realistic. The Jeff Johns version that just came out 10, 15 years ago, it's an army. It's even.
I read a lot of those in trades. Those are good.
I like those.
I like
even
those.
The ones with the Alex Ross covers. I've got
almost all team would have trouble. JSA all the way.
Justice Society trades.
How does anyone beat the Spectre? I would send Spectre, Dr. Fate right at Superman.
Well, back in the voice, how powerful were everybody? And what they did is because they were so powerful, Gardner Fox they would never be together. They always went and they did this in the Justice League too, as teams. It would be, Johnny Thunder and Wonder Woman would go together, and the Flash and Green Lantern would go together. They wouldn't do anything till the end of the book. They never fought as a team. Which
I have such a soft spot for this Justice League. I mean, for this Justice Society.
Yeah.
Johnny Thunder has the genie in here. Yep. Wildcat trained Batman. I love Wildcat. Toth did a bunch of amazing Wildcat stuff. Can't argue. I keep saying his name wrong. It's Toth, right? I say Toth.
well, I think it's Toth, yeah.
Love the Lucha Libre look of the original Adam. Yeah. It's so bad it works. You know, I couldn't design a costume that bad because it would be bad. But there's something about that costume that just works. DC calls me. I want Wildcat. Everybody likes Toth. Okay, so hey, Matt, you going to come in?
The other interesting thing about the Justice Society is that when they wouldn't be able, they only had to have a certain amount of members. Like Wonder Woman was really the secretary.
Right.
She was not active until the second half of the series.
Yeah.
Because you could only have so many characters. If
Right.
they retired, they became reserve members and they'd be replaced by somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, I was doing the roll call, but like you said, they a lot of the stories, they broke them up into squads. So you had this, and that became part of like just DC team books. Like if you read the early Justice League, they were broken up into squads. And,
Yeah.
and the squads, like they really didn't put any thought into it. Like I always just love like Batman and Aquaman are going off on a squad, and then you got like Superman and Green Lanterns. Like Superman and Green Lantern could take out the entire planet. You know, you know what I mean? And then you got Batman and Aquaman that are like, you know, if you're not in the ocean, what is Aquaman going to do?
Well, actually, he can do quite a lot.
Right. They powered him up. I actually like Aquaman. But
they used to split the Avengers up like that too when Shooter did that and Len Wein and all those guys. And they would split the Avengers up like that once in a while. But what did we learn? Never split up. You're supposed to stay together.
So one thing about Society is it's also they had legacy. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Generations of the Society. So.
Yeah. Later on, they came out with a comic called Infinity Incorporated. That was like their wards, children, sidekicks, grandkids, whatever grew up. But man, did that team just get destroyed by the Crisis on Infinite?
Crisis ruined them. They had that one shot.
Yeah.
Where they had to get in court and stuff.
Yeah, they just poor Infinity Incorporated. Like nobody suffered more from the Crisis on Infinite Earth. The original Wonder Woman and the original Steve Trevor had a daughter named Helena, and she became Fury. And
I remember.
Fury.
That's like the Jerry Ordway days.
Yeah, she married the original Hawkman, and Hawkgirl had a kid, Hector, and they got married. And they had a kid, and then, man, it just became convoluted. That kid actually became the new iteration of Neil Gaiman's Sandman through a whole convoluted story. And I don't even know if she exists anymore, but it's just a weird, sad story that they didn't know what to do with her. They should have just did the Power Girl thing. She exists because she came from another.
They tried to make sense of Power Girl too, and they couldn't. So
right. So anyway, what I was going to say before, I said I'll come back to this. With the exception of Starman, I'm trying to think. They all have some sort of. Well, maybe I'm wrong. But there's a lot of mysticism in the Justice Society, like Dr. Fate, Spectre, even Hawkman, Johnny Thunder, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and even the Sandman with those ties to, you know, he fully goes on like Eastern mesmerism and stuff like that. You know, the science is the Flash and Starman and Our Man, you know, but everybody else kind of maybe Dr. Midnight too, right? But there's a lot of mysticism. But that was like the big thing in the 40s. That's why like the Indiana Jones movie, you know, with that was set in the 40s. You had the Holy Grail, and then you had the Ark of the Covenant, and then when they went to the 50s, it became more science fiction-y, you know, and that's where we have the Justice League in the 60s, you know, more science based, and we'll get to that. I guess now is a good time to bring up the Justice League. So I'm going to bring up this picture that I brought, and when we talk about the teams, you know, we're just talking in general. I mean, just because but here is who drew this? Is this Jose Garcia?
Yes, Jose
Yeah.
Garcia Lopez. Yeah,
Now
this is part of his famous book that they just came out with a book of all the style guide.
Yes. Yeah,
Hey,
Jeff
very
John. Oh, we got another commentator. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, Matt.
What's going on, guys?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, Matt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm half Jewish
I'm
myself.
sorry, I didn't mention Hanukkah. Grant Morris.
I know, right? Shalom, dog.
Shalom dogs. Are shalom dogs like a Jewish tradition? The shalom dogs.
The Shalom
think
Dog
so.
sounds like a comic book, Matt.
Yeah, it sounds
I
like
know,
a
right?
sounds like a David Bowie album.
It's like some sort of
Sounds more polite to Reservoir Dog.
yeah. Maybe it'll be the retelling of my days with Mossad.
Oh,
There
wow.
you go.
There you go.
When you said the Reservoir Dogs, you know how
We
they
used
all
to-
have the black suits.
One-
So just picture
Yeah.
black suits, the hats, and the curls.
There you go.
With the little
There you go.
little white strings coming out of the
Yeah,
bottom
there
of
you
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We used to go to Hanukkah when my grandparents were alive.
It's fun. It's fun. I married into it, and I think it's
It's
really
fun.
cool
My father married into it. Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I was obsessed with the
Hasidics?
Ten Commandments movie.
Oh,
I asked my mom, why don't we celebrate Passover? And she's like, because we're not Jewish. I'm like, yeah, but we talk about Moses in church. You know what I mean? I was a kid. I didn't know the differences in religion, stuff like that, you know? So
No.
she actually invited a rabbi to our house. So we celebrated Passover one year. And she's like, this is John, my little Jewish son. And the rabbi went, I think he was a little upset when he found out that we weren't even Jewish.
oh shit. He was like, is everything you gave me kosher? I hope so.
Oh my gosh.
But
Mhm.
it
You're like,
was-
did you like those pork and beans? My wife put fat back in them. I hope you like them.
yeah,
Oh
I gave him a Cuban sandwich. He didn't particularly like it.
He's like, this is great. What is in this?
All
Ham?
different.
Ah!
Oh, that's bad. You kids are bad people.
Look at this. This is the classic lineup. I mean, for me,
This just
this right here is like, that is like pinnacle fucking JLA right
This is
there,
the
dude.
Superpowers toys, right?
Yeah, that is what I grew up
Yeah.
like. That's Justice League. That's
This is the Super Friends.
Superpowers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll do a quick rundown, but most
Super Friends with some extras. You got Firestorm, Red
Right.
Tornado.
The original.
I don't ever
the
think
original Justice-
Elongated Man was ever on the cartoon. Black
No.
Canary.
I think he was
Oh,
I
really?
couldn't-
Elongated Man was on Super Friends.
eventually.
I couldn't get past the name, the Elongated Man.
And who's that holding fucking Flash's hands? Is that Zatara?
That's Zatanna in her George Perez costume.
Zatanna? Yeah.
Yeah, that's his George Perez outfit.
Where she's
So
not
we got
showing off
Flash,
the,
Red,
the
obviously.
fishnet
Zatanna.
stockings and shit.
We got Captain Marvel in the background, which I
I
never.
don't think he really
I
was a
don't-
member.
Yeah.
They kind of
Maybe till later. I think more modern. He's definitely in the JLA now.
right.
he-
Jeff
Like, there's
John-
even been like a moment of like them all finding out that he was a fucking kid. Like Superman's like, what the fuck? You're a kid?
He was
Yeah.
in the J.M. DeMatis, Kevin McGuire,
That's
um,
right. That's
the
right.
After Crisis
I
jail.
forgot about that. But he
They
wasn't
weren't the
in-
Justice League of America though.
We got the Martian Manhunter, Batman, obviously, Firestorm. Behind Firestorm, we got Red Tornado, the
Mhm.
Android member. Yeah, this is the satellite era. TJ Rex says.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where's the Detroit era?
Look at that, man. Flash is about to rip her fucking arm off. Like, why are you grabbing her arm, dude?
And
Oh,
then
he's
we
got
got
I'm being silly, but he's like, "Here,
Like
let me
a
hold
piece
your
of
hand before I
wood.
fucking run across the
You're
planet."
coming with me now.
You can't
Yeah, right.
you can't call Flash a slow hand, you know.
No.
We got Aquaman.
Nah,
we got
he is. He's
Elongated
moving
Man.
fast. He's like, "Here, let me hold your hand, baby. Hey, how you doing? Hey."
We got Green Arrow down there checking out Wonder Woman's thighs, and we got the modern Black Canary, and then we got Hal Jordan, Green Lantern over there. And I have to address RRTNZ, $5 New Zealand dollars, which basically means sausage and eggs because it turns into food because he lives in Hobbiton. Chuck Norris was in the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. He played the stunt double. Forgot, really? Is that a joke? Oh,
That's a joke.
oh,
That's a joke.
I thought Chuck
Well
Norris.
done.
Yeah, Chuck Norris
then
was
I
a
realized
burning bush.
Did you take that history of animation class where the guy just passed away, where they played the 10 Commandments without any sound?
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, I had this
Animation
class
class
where-
was with a lady. I forgot her name, but it was a
Howard White.
lady.
He just passed away. He was 95. Howard, I forgot his last name. And we had a history and animation class, and he played the whole thing. How much sound meant to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the whole 10 Commandments without sound.
Did you,
See,
did
we-
you
Yeah,
ever
the
see
way
that?
the way they did
I had a
that,
woman with
the way
black
they did
hair.
the
No, I
She
didn't
was
have her.
in the main,
split
and it was like
red
in the
space is
auditorium in the main building,
Yeah, it was in the auditorium in the main
right?
building.
Yeah, I had a woman teaching the class to me, and dude, that fucking class was so dope. We were watching Russian animation. We were watching all kinds of fucking
that was a
shit,
fun
dude.
class.
Just like what I don't know about. Do you remember or if they did it with you? But like Disney came in.
No,
and
they didn't do that.
they had the pencils to fucking Beauty and the Beast. So we got to watch Beauty and the Beast, no backgrounds, just the main parts of the animation.
I
You
didn't
know what I'm
see
talking
that.
about? It was like just the
Yeah.
characters moving. Dude, that was the dopest shit ever. I was like, Beauty and the Beast is fucking
That's so
dope.
cool. But I
And
did
then I
get
went and
that
saw it. I
Harvey
was like,
Kurtzman.
I like the pencils. I just wanted to watch the pencils.
I
Yeah,
did get
sorry.
that Harvey Kurtzman, so that was cool.
Oh,
They brought in Arnold Roth and the guy who did It's Not a Good Night because I can't remember anything. But the one with the Nazis were the cats and the Jews were the rats.
Mouse.
He came in and didn't talk about himself. He just talked about what a genius Harvey was. Harvey was way slowed down. He had Parkinson's and he was way slowed down by then. But he had a lot heavy anything that to do war comics at EC. And I know they says Wally Wood, this, that, the other thing. He laid that all out. That's all Harvey Kurtzman. He gave them tracing paper up to tracing paper. Before Photoshop, the levels were tracing paper at different color markers.
yeah. So funny. When I'm working now, I'll use different colored pens as I'm working.
It's not a
Right,
bad
like-
idea.
No, like I'll just be like, okay, the backgrounds. I'll start doing backgrounds in blues and dark blues, and then start doing the figures in oranges and stuff. Just to like start differentiating my drawings.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to
Sorry.
mention this.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
On Batman's shoulder is the Atom.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I didn't notice
I
that.
missed
until-
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we
But
got
we're
big
getting
problems.
off on a tangent. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
that's
sorry
okay.
guys.
No problem.
Apologize.
Grey Wolf says one of my neighbors was Jewish and his son wanted a Christmas tree. He went ahead and got one, but told the son, "Now, son, this is a Hanukkah bush, not a Christmas tree." One of my childhood friends, Adam Schwartz, go figure, he's Jewish, but they always had a beautiful Christmas tree. They just called it the Santa Claus tree because they.
My
loved-
mom had a Christmas tree. My grandfather was a painter, an oil painter, an artist, and he created Christmas cards. He had a Christmas card company. And so my mother loved, Jewish or not, she just loved Christmas. Period. Yeah, like you love Christmas, John. Like everybody loves Christmas.
I love Christmas.
So we had a huge tree. We had like a 13-foot tree. My mother was an artist as well.
This
And
was
I
like the
ended up
least
doing
Christmas,
IT.
Christmas on Wednesday was like the least Christmassy Christmas ever.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So,
let's.
love this
so
art, dude. This art is
which
so
group are we
clean,
giving
dude.
Dinah Lance to?
Well, she's on both because her mother's on Justice
In
League.
this big group of Justice League, the original 7 are Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Manhunter. That's the original 7. That's what Grant Morrison brought back, the original 7.
Yeah.
After the Bwahaha, the J.M. DeMatteis,
With
and
the
the
fucking
Detroit
Rock of
League
Ages
completely
and shit,
destroyed
dude.
Justice
That was Grant Morrison's run on JLA was fucking phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, great. Great run.
But looking at this team, we got, Captain Marvel, Zatanna, and Wonder Woman are really the only magical ones because this
Magical,
Hawk
that's
is,
right.
is space alien, and this Green Lantern is space alien. So you could see the more shift towards science rather than mysticism. So
A magic lantern from a train wreck.
right,
What?
right.
Okay.
That's what happened, right? That's Alan Scott's
And
origin.
not gay.
Yeah.
And not gay. Yeah.
The ring made him gay. It like the essence of the ring made
Somebody's
him
been posting these great Alex Toth and Erwin Hansen and Paul Reinman covers of Green Lantern.
Adam.
Really
Adam
good.
is, I think.
Yeah, Adam is. That's right.
I'm just looking at like the line economy on this art, dude. It's just like only lines that are put down that are needed. You know what I mean? There's no like over rendering of muscles. and it's all there. All the information is there. It's fucking.
Well, we'll be doing cable tomorrow, so that won't be a problem.
Oh no!
I mentioned Detroit League, and Stippling shows up. Yeah,
Hell yeah!
I said it 3 times. I knew you'd come.
I can't be on too long, but for this episode, I was like, I gotta hop on.
Yeah,
hop on for this one.
Yeah, it's this is a great group shot. It's almost like a Perez, you know.
It's actually
Isn't it? Isn't this who drew this? Is this Perez?
Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Just arguing with Tom Brevoort
Uh
as we talk. He goes, today's my 35th anniversary working for Marvel. And I said, yeah, let's celebrate 35 years of declining sales and poor quality. He goes, I'm 56. I don't know what that has anything to do
Tom
with
Brevoort has a nice blog about comics, but I feel like kind of dirty reading it.
yeah.
Said, what does that have to do with the fact that Marvel sales have been going down and their quality has been going down for 35 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I met George Perez one time at
Me too.
Dragon Con, and like, you know, it's after the con was over, and everybody was like in the hotel lobbies. You know, Dragon Con, it's just like this like ongoing fucking party, and there's all these like weirdos, all these cosplay kooks, and there's just this fucking old man walking through the crowd with this Hawaiian shirt, aloha shirt on, right? And I was like, George. And he turned around. He was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, what's going on, buddy?" He was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Come on, let me get a picture of you." So cool. Like, I mean, he didn't even know me from fucking dirt, but he was just like, "Hey, what's up?" It was just so funny. I was like, "What the hell are you doing in this crowd? Nobody is like talking to you. It's fucking
right."
Well, the last
crime,
kind of like the last thing he did in public was he wanted to be there for the fans to get one last picture with him.
Yeah,
dude, yeah, I love the picture of me and George. It's like me, George, and Bob Burden. Yep. All 3 of us together. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, Marv Wolfman just recently resurfaced. So
okay, I only got 15 minutes before I got to go to the toasting stream. So
oh, sorry.
Stippling, what do you got to say? You wanted to pop in and champion the Justice Society, right?
Well, see, my thing is, it's hard for me to say which is better. Because the thing what drew me into superhero comics was the Justice League of America, because it had so many different new characters I'd never seen. It's one of those where it's like, I mean, I already had like overload of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, but the Justice League, you got all these new characters, and so for me, it was like that was like it. But then when I discovered the Justice Society really, that was the one I really liked because there was the same characters, even though they're all brand new to me. 2 was there were no, like, their powerhouse was Hawkman, Green Lantern, and Flash. But none of them had like god level powers like how just like the Justice League has. And then really as the story progressed, with first Robinson, then Jeff Johns, you did get that sense of lineage and family. That
I like the Jeff Johns run.
The Justice League just never had it for me like that. In fact, the only time I really got the sense of Justice League kind of being like semi-family, it wasn't necessarily family, but the fact that they had support staff with the Justice League Detroit, where all the other versions, they just had all the stuff they needed. The Justice Society had someone who was always there, like an Alfred or a Jarvis, in their headquarters, taking care of stuff. And having that one person, it's amazing how that one backup character in the headquarters always gave that sense of grounding them, of a sense of family.
Yeah, Jarvis does do that. Yeah.
And so for me, when they had Ma Hunkel in the Brownstone for the Justice Society, she grounded it. And then as they were doing the story with Robinson and then Jeff Johns, they had it where it's like, it wasn't the original Starman, it was Starman's son.
Right.
So that passing down of father to son stuff, which we really don't have much of these days in society in general. So you had that where it's like where the father or the parent is passing down their lineage to their child, and their child's taking up that mantle. Believe it or not, I think of it some ways how with NASCAR and baseball and football, how you'll see how NASCAR, you'll have like Dale and then passing it on to his son Dale Jr. Same thing with the Jarretts. And then when you have football with the Mannings, and how one of the things that gave
Man, I was waiting for an opportunity to make the same joke.
But you get what I'm saying. How I was like, even in football now, where you have like the grandfather played football, the father played football, and now his son's playing football.
Yeah.
And you can see, you can feel that energy with the color commentary when they're during the game or before the game, when one of them's playing. And you get that with the Justice Society, whereas Justice League, it's one of those, because all of those characters were such heavy hitters, and because they all had their own, most of them had their own books, it's like the Justice League became kind of like a side job. Sometimes
the JLA felt like it was something they were like just waiting for the call. Like they were off doing their own stuff, but then when they needed to, they'd get the call to join up. Yeah,
that's the reason why I like, even though I got busted on a lot, that's the reason why I like Justice League Detroit, because it was like the same characters. You had that you had the youthful energy because of the young characters, but it was the same characters, and they were all dedicated to the same cause. It wasn't one of those where it's like, oh, I've got monitoring duty, so
the Watchtower or the Hall of Justice were more facilities, but the society had a brownstone.
Yeah.
I always liked that the Justice Society had like this gravitas and respect. Like they were the old timers. Like when I'll go to like barbecues, stuff like that, and there'll be old retired electricians, and you're just in awe of like, you hear about the precise work that these guys did without modern tools, without battery powered chopping guns and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like, you just want to hear the stories that they tell. And I get that same feeling from the Justice Society. These were the groundbreaking guys. Like literally, there was no superheroes before them. So that in itself gives them this gravitas that I find I just love. And even as a kid, when I saw those old fashioned costumes, I just fell in love with how out of date they were, but they looked regal and like I get the same feeling when I look at like photographs from World War II. Like these were cool people,
It's the same way if you ever go into the American Legion or VFW, and you'll have these guys that have seen the shit, and they'll all be like, especially when you get a pissing contest between like someone who was in the Army and someone who was in the Navy, and they get in a pissing contest, and like I'm not even going to go there. But then you have this old codger sitting there.
Go Navy.
He starts to speak up, and everybody is quiet, because it's one of those where it's like, regardless of how much we bitch, he's seen 10 times more than us.
Right.
Show him respect. And that's how the Justice Society is. I mean, you think about it. How you'd
It's
have
it's like every time somebody got arrogant, Wildcats like, hey, let's box a few rounds.
Yeah. But at the same time, also, you take a look at how it's like you'd have like Dr. Midnight, and like how he'd be like, he'd say something, and even Superman like sits up in his chair like, hey, this guy's got something I need to pay attention to. Even though Dr. Midnight has almost like no powers really, other than the blackout bombs. But it just shows how like those guys, they had they were worthy of all the respect, and they didn't expect it.
Yeah, they got respect but didn't ask for it. It was very, very cool. And you're absolutely right. Something that John is talking about, like with the electricians, the old guys didn't have battery operated choppers or whatever the fuck you're like calling out. But it's like, Superman has godlike powers. He knows that Midnight doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like these guys that came before us don't have the powers that we have, but they did just as much good. So there's definitely some respect. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I respect you. You put out
Batman and
a
Superman,
fire with a hose while I have, a fire truck.
Yeah.
and Batman and Superman weren't really in the Justice Society. They were reserve members, and they hardly were any of them. And Wonder Woman was the secretary. So the big three really had not much to do with the adventures of the Justice Society. So it was all what we think of as the B characters. Although Flash and Green Lantern, all the big seven of the Justice League are all A characters. But back then when we were going back, like you're really old like me, and you're reading about these guys in the 100-page super spectaculars. Like you got the JLA one, and then you're reading this great story about they're fighting Negaton or whatever, with all this rough art. And they all go off in pairs. You get the feeling that they're friends because they talk like friends when they went off in pairs.
Yeah.
That's one thing I liked about Infinity Incorporated is you saw them having barbecues and their kids were playing together.
They look like friends, and that's why we think that about Flash and Green Lantern, even the modern Flash, that they're friends. Because when Green Lantern was canceled, he went to Flash's book, and he teamed up so many more times than any other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was World's Finest, but that was like World's Finest. Batman and Superman are over here, on that.
Yeah, the JSA had some super powerful, and I'm not even considering Jeff Johns' version. Jeff Johns' version has like Black Adam and Captain Marvel, and all these other beings, and he had like the new Johnny Thunder was like a streetwise thug who was a lot smarter than the original Johnny Thunder, who was a moron and limiting this godlike ability. But like, he was like the joke member of the group. But I don't know. It's no secret. I think the Justice Society would mop the floor with the Justice League. I'm trying to think of a scenario, but like, it's DC, so the scenario is just Gardner Fox has a mental alien that makes them fight each other. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The closest
scenario is like galaxies are smashing into each other.
Well, in Kingdom Come, who was the character
must
that
fight
kind of
or
like
one
was
universe
judging
is
the
dead.
whole thing was Spectre.
Well, remember,
That's right.
technically they did fight each other.
right.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Those were like
I have that. Yeah.
They cherry picked Justice
Yeah, I have that book.
and Justice Society to be the bad guys and the good guys. But this,
I love that
here's-
because Captain Marvel took out Superman.
yeah.
I remember that very well because that was during the height of the Newsarama, and I said every time Captain Marvel and Superman fight, Captain Marvel wins, and they all bring up Kingdom Come, and I'm like, yeah, well, if you're gonna,
What does he
Well,
do? Does
technically,
he do
Captain
the
Marvel
lightning on
did
him?
win in
If you're
Kingdom
gonna-
Come.
if you're gonna beat up a little kid,
Well,
I mean, what is he?
He wasn't a
Shazam his
little
ass?
kid.
Does he like grab Superman and Shazam him?
Yeah.
He was doing it.
Superman makes
Because it's a
Shazam.
magic thing, right? He's like
Yeah.
fucking with Superman because it's magic.
Superman was
He's able
bleeding
to,
from his eyes and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because it's magic. Yeah.
Ooh, Carlos is dope.
yeah,
He had
is.
to figure a way to figure out how to beat Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was literally earwormed by Lex
Mind
Luthor.
in him.
mind.
Yeah, Mr.
Hello,
Mind
you
control, yeah.
stupid humans.
So he was a bad guy.
So we got 4 minutes before I have to go to my, and everybody's invited. That's also an open stream. We're gonna drink to the
but
patriarch.
there's going to be the same people, though.
Right. But I
No,
gotta go to the
not
next
me.
stream.
Drink to the patriarchy?
Yeah, we're gonna have a beer from our patriarch glass.
Oh, word up.
So everybody's welcome to have a beer with us. Open invite, as many people as want to come in. But we'll just shoot the shit. But who's
You guys
next?
talked about the Spectre, right? The Spectre, like he's fucking like supernatural, right? You can't
Spectre
fuck
can
with
do
him,
anything.
right? He's like the
Yeah.
Watcher, kind of.
He's
The Spectre is like, at the beginning he was just a ghost, and towards the end he was the next most powerful being in DC next to God. So, so you could say, the original Spectre, they would have a hard, he would have a hard time beating him. Because what, could Green Lantern encapsulate him? I don't know. But the late Spectre, he could snap his fingers and beat everybody. That to me is boring too.
Yeah.
well, at the same time, also what helped also was that towards the end, the Spectre wasn't necessarily a part of the Justice Society.
Yeah.
Think of it this way: you had the Phantom Stranger for the JLA, where he was only there if they absolutely need him as a guide stone to what they needed to do. Spectre was that for the JSA. If there was something going on where it's like, okay, like all of a sudden, like they're like having
The Phantom
toast.
Stranger is just a MacGuffin. Yeah.
Yes, which is really sometimes
We need
all,
this to happen. Phantom
Right.
Stranger.
He's almost like he's almost like the dungeon master telling them this is the quest you must go on.
Yeah.
Which, and 9 times out of 10, you don't need someone with, this is what reason why I always gravitated more towards JSA is because the closest thing they had to someone with godlike power, or the god level, would be like Dr. Fate and Shazam, but the morality kept them down.
Yeah.
Whereas JLA, too many godlike characters. So that's the reason why when I look at like my favorite JLA was like the Red Tornadoes and the
Right.
Firestorm.
That was a
Green
golden
Arrow.
age trope, because if you read those old Blue Beetle comics, Blue Beetle was just like the Spectre. He could grow big, he could destroy planets, you know what I mean? The original Dan Garrett. So it just seemed to happen in the golden age. Everybody got super powerful to the point it was ridiculous.
Like the
Well,
key,
yeah, same time also they get away with it because they weren't expecting anybody to read them after 5 years.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Us weirdos are reading comics too long. Yeah.
What did
baby.
you mean in issue 13? Back in, they were like, what? What are you talking about, dude? I'm just drawing stuff. I'm trying to feed my family. I don't give a shit what I did.
They-
Oh, it's my real name.
I draw pretty pictures.
the one thing, the rule about the Justice Society was as soon as a character got its own series, they left.
Oh,
Flash
really?
had to leave. Hawkman had to leave. So it was constantly changing with characters that were not have their own books.
Oh,
They
I didn't know
became
that.
honorary members.
Yeah.
And then issue 57, they bailed on superheroes and became All-Star Western with Gil Kane and Alex Toth doing artwork.
I didn't know that was like an editorial decree that had to leave. Kind of like you turned 21, you gotta leave the league.
If they got their own book, and that's why like Wonder Woman wasn't really an active member either, is because he had their own book. But these other guys were just 10-page stories within a lot of the All Flash, the back of Hawkman or something.
Right.
This is a pretty good one for next week. Brainiac versus Ultron. That's pretty interesting.
Whenever you get the Marvel versus DC, the issues that DC characters at some point were so overpowered, they just stomp on the Marvel characters like ants. Even though in the Marvel, Ultron is the most powerful and you can't crush him, but Brainiac had godlike powers at one point.
Yeah, dude. Brainiac is like planet-eating, civilization-devouring. Ultron's like, he's AI.
Right. Oh, Ultron is AI, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I guess Brainiac is also AI, right? He's also some sort of like, he's not like a real person. He was some sort of like
That's just
Kryptonian.
Brainiac changed so much more than any other character. Like,
Yeah, he's changed so much. He went from a green skin robot, a green skin android, to a complete robot with a robot head that he flew around space in.
Yeah.
that was the coolest ship, man.
He was a carnival guy. He started when they revamped it.
Yeah, they revamped him into the carnival guy. I remember.
And
that.
then Varel Doc's his father, and now he's something from Krypton's past. I mean, that character messed up so much. So it's like, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, you could have a Brainiac versus Ultron, but which effing Brainiac are you talking about?
It's always a process.
Super Friends Brainiac, the one with the action figure. That was a dope one. He was like
Eric DeGuapo has Mongol versus Thanos, which is interesting because Jim Starlin created both of them, and he created Mongol to be DC's Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He even basically said it.
No, he said it. He said,
He said it outright. So here is the link. This is the link for next stream. I'm going to close this down. We could continue all of this in the next stream, but I know some people aren't watching this, but they want to jump onto that one. So I invite everybody who's watching to jump on. I'm just going to close this down. I'm going to go grab a beer, and everybody's invited to have a beer with Toasted the Patriarchy. So come on down.
I got to get some more coffee. I'll be back.
Yeah,
But,
I'm drinking coffee.
I got that
I'm working
scheduled
tonight.
I do have pants on. Hold on.
Yeah, right.
There we go.
All right, so I'm going to shut this down, and I'll see everybody in a minute or two.
I don't
Same-
have any pants on. I'm completely naked right now.
That's fine.
Oh, thank God we have an avatar.
Yeah. Yeah.
See everybody.